Let's be honest for a second. Have you ever felt like a malfunction in the matrix? Maybe you've caught yourself popping a pimple with weird satisfaction, or pretending to text someone important when you're actually just standing alone at a party. If you have, relax. You aren't crazy, and you definitely aren't broken. You are simply a biological machine running 50,000-year-old software in a 21st century environment. See, according to evolutionary psychology, almost every creepy urge or awkward social habit we display isn't just a quirk. It is a remnant of a survival mechanism that kept our ancestors alive in the wild. Today, we are going to break down exactly why we do the bizarre things we do. Section 1. The creepy cravings. Let's start with the dark stuff. Why are we drawn to things that are gross, dangerous, or just plain weird? First on the list is ASMR. There is something objectively strange about watching a stranger on the internet whisper into a microphone or tap on a hairbrush, yet millions of people find it hypnotic. This isn't a fetish, it's actually a biological hack. Evolutionarily, these sounds, whispering, slow movements, light scratching, mimic the grooming behaviors of our primate ancestors. It tricks your nervous system into thinking you are being cared for by a close-knit tribe. It turns a stranger's voice into a digital sedative, releasing the same chemicals your brain would produce if a friend was picking lice out of your hair. Gross, but comforting. Next, let's talk about morbid curiosity, or the rubbernecker effect. You're driving down the highway, traffic slows, and you see a car crash. You know you shouldn't look, but you do. Why? You aren't hoping to see blood, you are being a disaster tourist. This is called threat simulation theory. Your brain is desperate to gather data on how not to die. By looking at the misfortune of others, you are essentially updating your internal survival manual so that you don't make the same mistake. Then there is the gross out sniff. We've all done it. You peel off a sweaty gym sock or open a Tupperware container that's been in the fridge too long, and your first instinct is to take a deep whiff. This is called benign masochism. It's a safe way to trigger a biological threat response, like disgust, without actually being in danger. It's like a system check. Your brain is poking the beast of your own biology just to make sure your reflexes still work. Moving on to the lure of the forbidden. If I hand you a box and say, "Do not look inside this box," that box immediately becomes the only thing in the world that matters to you. This is known as psychological reactance. Human brains view restrictions as a threat to our autonomy. We don't break the rules because we are bad people. We break them to prove to ourselves that we still have control. We are basically toddlers in adult bodies. Then there is the pain of parasocial grief. Why do you feel genuine heartbreak when a YouTuber you've never met quits or gets canceled? It seems silly, but your lizard brain hasn't received the software update for screens yet. If you see a face and hear a voice every single day, evolution categorizes that person as a tribe member. When they disappear, the grief is real because your biological hardware thinks you just lost a friend who lived in your cave. Have you ever stood on a high balcony and felt a sudden urge to jump? That is the call of the void. Don't worry, you aren't suicidal. This is actually a communication glitch. Your fear center screams danger and sends a massive spike of adrenaline to pull you back, but your conscious mind lags behind. It misinterprets that sudden rush of energy as an urge to jump rather than an urge to pull back. It's your survival instinct being so dramatic that it feels like a death wish. This also explains why we love true crime. Curling up with a tea to watch a documentary about a serial killer sounds sociopathic, but for many, especially women, it is a survival reflex. This is protective scanning. You are watching to identify red flags, to see how the victim could have escaped, and to learn killer psychology. It's a dress rehearsal for your worst nightmare, executed from the safety of your couch. Similarly, we have the aesthetics of doom. Why are we obsessed with the apocalypse, zombies, and plagues? It's not because we want the world to end, it's because we are tired. Modern life is full of taxes, emails, and complex social roles. The apocalypse is simple, the fantasy of a hard reset where your only job is to find a can of peaches and survive is strangely comforting. And finally, for the creepy category, the wet paint poke. You see the sign, it says wet paint. You touch it anyway. Why? Because of experiential curiosity. Your brain is a skeptical scientist. It refuses to simply trust a sign. It demands to verify reality with its own nerve endings, even if that means walking around with a blue smudge on your finger for the rest of the day. And of course, our fascination with creepy crawlies. You see a spider, you are terrified, but you can't look away. This is predator detection. Your biology knows that if you look away, the threat disappears into the unknown, which is worse. By staring at it, you maintain visual control over the danger. Section 2. The social glitches. Now let's switch gears to the awkward stuff. Why do we perform weird little rituals just to fit in? Let's start with the universal ooh. Watch yourself next time you drop a pen or trip on a curb. You will almost certainly make a short, high-pitched noise like oop or oh. This sound has zero tactical value. It doesn't pick up the pen. It's a broadcast signal to the tribe that says, "Alert, I have detected my error. I am a functioning human, not a broken robot. Please do not attack me." It's a preemptive apology to the universe. Then there is the fake phone check. Standing alone in public makes us feel vulnerable to judgment, so we deploy the shield of technology. We pull out our phones, unlock them, and scroll through absolutely nothing. This signals to the room that we are busy, important, and occupied. It protects us from the fear of looking lonely or awkward. Speaking of checking things, how about the fridge door peek? You walk to the kitchen, open the fridge, stare for 3 seconds, and close it. You know there is no new food in there. We do this because of domesticated foraging. It's a low-effort task that gives us a fleeting sense of productivity. It's a way for your brain to feel like it's hunting for something, even when you are just catastrophically bored. When we're out in public, we often use headphones as a force field. Wearing headphones without playing any music is the modern equivalent of a do not disturb sign. It's a tool of social disarmament. It allows us to politely ignore flyer distributors and chatty strangers without technically being rude. It's a way to say, "I can't hear you," without actually saying it. If you want to see peak awkwardness, look at the elevator face-off. The moment we step into an elevator, we all agree to become statues. We face forward, watch the floor numbers change, and avoid eye contact at all costs. This is respect for collective solitude. In such a confined space, eye contact feels like aggression. Ignoring each other is actually the most polite way to give everyone breathing room. But when we pass people on the street, we do the head nod. Notice how the direction matters. An upward nod implies familiarity, like, "What's up?" A downward nod signals respect to a stranger. This is a data transfer. It says, "I see you, you see me, and we agree not to fight." It confirms our place in the social ecosystem. In the bathroom, we perform the pretend hand wash. You use those loud air dryers, realize they don't work, and then wipe your damp hands on your pants. But you have to use the dryer for at least a few seconds first. Why? To perform hygiene, you must show the public that you intended to use the machine before resorting to the gross method, preserving your social standing. On the road, we have the two-finger driver wave. You lift 2 fingers off the steering wheel to greet another driver you've never met. It's a secret code. It acknowledges a shared struggle. It says, "We are both operating heavy machinery. I respect your hustle." It's a tiny act of tribal solidarity. And finally, the queue for the single stall. If there's a line for one bathroom stall, we join it even if 4 other stalls are clearly empty. This is pure herd mentality. We assume the person in front of us knows something we don't. Maybe the other stalls are broken? We fear breaking the invisible social rules more than we hate waiting in line. Outro. So the bottom line is this: you aren't weird, you are human. Whether you are beta testing trauma by watching true crime or signaling harmlessness by squeaking when you drop a fork, every quirk you have is a feature, not a bug. Your brain is simply trying its best to keep you safe, social, and alive in a modern world it wasn't built for. So go ahead, pop that pimple and open that fridge. It's just your ancestors saying hello.